She was already crying when I walked in, shoulders trembling, hands clutching the edge of the kitchen counter like it was the last solid thing in her collapsing world. The baby monitor blinked beside her. She didn't look at it. She looked at me. "Please," she whispered, "I can't do this alone." I let the silence stretch. It was the only mercy I still believed in. Because this was the moment she'd earned. Backstory. Before the cracks, I used to memorize the sound of her laugh. That soft, melodic break in her voice that made our small apartment feel like it had hope stitched into the drywall. I met her during a winter that wouldn't end. Her scarf too bright, her eyes too kind, her promises too easy to believe. She said I made her feel safe. I believed her. We built a life on shared meals and whispered plans, the kind couples make before they understand how fragile loyalty really is. I gave her trust, not because she demanded it, but because she made me want to. That was the real betrayal, not the act, but the ease with which she buried everything we were. Discovery, the first fracture. It started with small changes, her phone face down, the late-night errands, the laughter that didn't include me anymore. I pretended not to notice. That was my mistake. But when she came home smelling like a cologne I didn't own, his cologne, the one her brother-in-law drowned himself in every holiday, I stopped pretending. I watched her that night, brushing her hair, humming to herself like she was still the heroine of our story. And in the mirror, she caught me looking. She smiled. God, I wish she hadn't smiled. The message came 2 days later, an accident, a slip, a forwarded chain of texts that was never meant for me. Short lines, heavy implications, plans, meetings, a secret she carried under her ribs. My body, my choice, she had typed to him, about the child, his child, not mine. I didn't break, I didn't shout, I didn't even confront her. Something colder, sharper, steadier settled in my chest. I stopped feeling. I started planning. Planning the quiet rebuild of a man done being lied to. Emotion clouds judgment. I had no intention of being blind ever again. I documented everything, quietly, carefully. No traps, no theatrics. Just truth, collected like a surgeon preparing instruments. Bank statements, phone records, the timeline of conception. I met with a lawyer who looked at the file, then looked at me with a grim, impressed nod. "You're doing everything right," she said. I was. For the first time in months, I moved my money, I protected my assets, and filed for divorce with a precision she never saw coming. I didn't scream, I didn't beg, I didn't give her the drama she expected. I gave her consequences. Execution. Collapse by design. The papers hit her like a cold wave. "What is this?" she gasped. "You know exactly what it is," I said. I refused to raise my voice. Truth doesn't need volume. She tried every tactic. Denial, tears, anger, a half-hearted attempt at blaming me for pulling away. But nothing compared to her desperation when she realized the legal reality. I had proof the child wasn't mine. I had no obligation, financial, emotional, or parental. And every attempt she made to twist the story was met with documented facts. Her affair partner, her brother-in-law, vanished the moment the truth threatened his marriage, left her with the silence he once filled. She tried to guilt me. She tried to shame me. She tried to use the baby monitor like a weapon. But I didn't flinch. I wasn't heartless. I was done. Climax, the final confrontation. Which brings us here. Her tears, my calm. The baby crying down the hall, a sound that belonged to a world I never entered. "You helped create this mess," she sobbed. "You can help me fix it." I stepped closer, just enough for her to see the truth in my eyes. No, I said. You created this for him. You kept it from me, and now you want me to lie to myself the way you lied to me? She reached for my arm. I let her fingers brush my sleeve, then pulled away. Your body, I said, your choice, my life, my freedom. The words hit harder than any shout could. She collapsed into the kitchen chair, her breathing uneven, finally understanding she'd lost not just a husband, but the last person who ever would have fought for her. Resolution, the clean cut of freedom. As I walked out, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Relief. Not triumph, not bitterness. Just the quiet knowledge that I had reclaimed the dignity she tried to bury. People say revenge is messy. They're wrong. Sometimes revenge is simply refusing to carry the weight someone else dropped at your feet. And tonight, for the first time in a long time, I walked away empty-handed and completely free.